Winner bracket semifinal number 1, qualifier number 5 for Meta Madness. We are up to 18 bans. 18 heroes are banned for the tournament, and as rule number 2 kicks in, every hero can only be played once within a series. Meta Madness is back and better than ever. So more heroes banned, more fun. We've had some crazy comps already, and I expect more, particularly when we're heading into the playoffs, of course. But currently we're still looking at the qualifiers. We got the Raiders against the Akatsuki. So actually a pretty sexy game. This should be really interesting. Akatsuki are now participating in their 3rd qualifier out of 5. They skipped the 4th one, and the team didn't exist yet in the 1st one. Whereas the Raiders have been participating in every single one of them. They performed extremely well, and they are hoping to claim the top spot in the leaderboard for a better seeding in the playoffs themselves. And in the playoffs, of course, we play for $2,000 of prize money. Again, no big name sponsor in this event, so a bit of an early Christmas present to the community from me. All the prize money and everything else here set up by myself and financed by me, and with that we're now heading into another match. So let's check this one out. First pick, Nano. Are we gonna get an early Chromie pick? She hasn't been banned, and yep, therefore instantly Chromie says hello. We got Stitches banned, we get Medivh banned out, and we have on the other side the Haka and the Vikings with the axe. Quick note, in case you haven't watched one of the previous games with the Akatsuki, they are playing today with 2 sub players. Khaldor is playing for them, and Außenseiter is playing with them here. So they have a couple of subs, and we've seen this from other teams too. Gia subbing in for the Raiders as well. But we've seen this obviously throughout all of the qualifiers. There's still some rules. The teams have to have a certain amount of players still there from their core, or they just can't, but they have to register the subs with the admins beforehand and so on and so forth. So yeah, nothing out of the ordinary here, just in case there's a little bit of confusion if you watch previous tournaments and you're like, wait a second, where are the other players? Some people just don't have time there. But we get Mal'Ganis, we have Falstad, and we have a Nubarak. Rhaegar gets also taken here as Towers of Doom. So we still don't have a side laner for the Akatsuki. The Haka has been banned, but it's already interesting that with Ultralisk on Falstad, we have already a global for them. So there is going to be a global hero that they can use as we're heading into this. And that can be interesting for the top lane in particular, because if you are playing a one-on-one and Falstad has the option of flying in and assisting you, turn this into a quick 2v1 fight. If you get that kill, that gives you a lot of control there. Now, on the other hand, we have Chromie again played by Nano, and every single time I see that, I was like, okay, this could get rough. But we have Rexa banned out, final ban from the red team, and now the Raiders themselves with an opportunity here too. They get rid of Uther. Uther, of course, can still double as a main tank. Will probably do so in some of the matches that we'll see in the playoffs. We have seen that already in the qualifiers, but he is also getting targeted a lot. With the Nubarak diving, we have Stukov as a follow-up with the Lurking Arm, and Leoric now for the rotation between the mid and the top lane, and trying to do their thing. But that leaves us with the final 2 picks for the Raiders. So they need a side laner. They know that they're up against Leoric. They know about Falstad. Durell is up if you want to go for her. That was one option. But we also still need a hero for Gia. And I'm curious what we're getting as second damage for them. Samuro. Alright, and Kerrigan. Okay, baby. Let's go. We're not wasting any time here. We're going immediately ham. Let's go, face. Samuro for Sven for the side lane. Why play it slow? No. Just like immediately run over them with everything you got. Gia on Kerrigan, and the final pick for the red team is Tychus. Guys, let's go. Map number 1, Akatsuki against the Raiders. First game of the best of 3. On the left, the Raiders with Nano on Chromie, Sven on Samuro. Johan is playing Mal'Ganis. We got Hunter Orc on Rhaegar and Gia on Kerrigan. To the right side of the map, the Akatsuki. We got Ultralisk with Falstad, Banana H on Stukov. Außenseiter is playing Tychus. Khaldor is going on level 1 straight into Consume Vitality with his Leoric. And Skok is playing a Nubarak for the red team. So another opportunity for them to make it through this tournament bracket, to gain some additional points for the leaderboard. Let's see which team is going to be successful on the first map on Towers of Doom. Samuro not making a choice yet, trying to be a little bit mysterious over here. It's not gonna happen, dude. I'm sorry. They're not really all that mysterious. You're very green, but that's about it. This case, blue. But yeah, level 1, we get Way of the Wind. And they are ready for the chicken. Ultralisk on Falstad. I mean, Falstad can be a huge asset, but of course he also suffers from a very tiny hit point pool. So yeah, the chicken is not really all that insane. He's a great hero, lots of utility, can have massive impacts on the game, but he can also get farmed depending on how the flow of the game turns on you and if there's momentum for the opponent. But then there's triple combos from Kerrigan like this one that turn the entire fight within half a second on its head and lead to first blood as Banana Age gets killed. So 1 kill to 0, and Doral Anomaly as the level 4 talent. That's a pretty decent start for the Raiders. Great combo from Kerrigan, and instantly they moved over to the pumpkin camp of the opponent's team and just stole it away. Easy peasy. No problems. So they grabbed the pumpkins. Nicely done by them. Now we have over on the left also Hunter Orc, Nano grabbing their own. The whole idea obviously being to just apply a bit more lane pressure, trying to slowly take down those towers at the bell tower at the bottom right. But also just get some extra experience for the team. It's a good start for them. It's a really nice start for them. The question is just simply how much more can they do right now. So yeah, it's not really a big lead or anything. On the first objective, you still want to end up taking 2 out of the 3 of the altars that are spawning here. And yeah, a little bit of nice damage done by Chromie, but Falstad is also starting to chunk Johan's hit point pull down quite nicely. Level 4 talents now on both sides. Oh, sorry, on the side of the blue team. Now both. We have one with the wind, and they are pushing them back already quite a bit. And we're still keeping our ING up for the next combo. Gets it, double connect. Chromie follows up on it, and Falstad dies. Falstad is gone. Gia gets out of the fight initially, but then killed by Tychus, who might have gone too deep for this. Can the doggy bite? Yep. Dog bites Tychus, and Mal'Ganis falls to its bloodbath down here. 3 kills to 2, Stukov is down, and now they're trying to go for Skog, who is able to get away. Yes, no? Yeah, dog, you gotta be careful, dude. He wanted to come in with the doggy bite and had to retreat. But it was still a successful fight for the Raiders. So yes, they were able to get a lot done. They got a lot of kills. They lost a few heroes, of course, in the process as well. But generally speaking, a nice opening for them. Half a level ahead, bit more structural damage. Ultralisk now farmed at the top. And this is on-point spray game right there that we're seeing from Sven. This is how this is supposed to look. Not these pleb sprays that we saw in some of the earlier games. I mean, you can't really watch that, right? So 2 of the altars go to the blue team. They're still fighting it out with them at the bottom of the map and do their thing. But yes, starting to look good here, of course. So level 7 kicks in. That gives us the Burning Blade. We now have also the Will of Tichondrios. And we get Rhaegar just continuing the thingy build, the totem build. And that's about that. Yeah, level 16 obviously when the full synergy is then kicking in for him, but yeah, no deviation away from that. Level 4 we've now also seen from Leo, the Ghastly Reach, a little bit more utility in the big team fights. Obviously, if you're just looking at sheer minion damage, then Neil Peasants is still one of the best and gets always utilized, or mainly utilized on maps like Inferno Shrines. That's still a quite solid start there for them. When it comes to Stukov, we got Targeted Incision, Vigorous Uptake, and now also here the Reactive Ballisto Spore. So all about the bio kill switch that he is going into that build. No Lurking Arm build like we've seen in previous games, which you could have gone for. I mean, you have an Uberak over here, so Lurking Arm follow-up would be nice. But talking about follow-ups, kill after kill. Stukov is down, so is Chromie and Tychus. Kerrigan and Samuros just jumping all over the place in these fights, but it feels like every single time they're battling it out, we have the Raiders with... They're walking away with a slight advantage out of these fights. It's always them emerging out of battle with 1 more kill, 2 more kills, maybe a tower destroyed. Small advantages that will add up over time if not stopped at some point, and you can already tell in this experience lead that they're holding over the red team that things are looking good. I mean, they have now taken 3 mercenary camps against 1. Actually 4 if you consider the one at the top lane as well. And they are half a level away from 10, so this altar is gonna go to the Raiders unless they massively screw up. And instead of screwing up, they're getting a kill on Falstad. The channel has happened, the shots are fired, the core is down to 28 points. And all of this playing out before level 10 is even there. Level 10 is now finally ready. Vision been granted by some of the copies. They're trying to zone everyone away from the bottom bell tower. And of course, this is the big issue now. If you don't have heroic abilities, you just can't fight back. You just can't. Fighting back is not an option in a situation like this. So, yeah, more than a little bit annoying. They have to give up the bell tower. And they are still an entire level away from level 10. And to make matters worse, they're 2 levels behind in total. So you can tell that game number 1 is just not going well for the Akatsuki. So the problem is simply that they are also playing with subs, of course, today. So that is definitely having a bit of an impact. But they were still able to win their previous round. And they also get a kill on Karrigan here. So they're fighting back. They might still lose Tigers. And yes, Außenseiter is indeed taken down. And at the bottom of the map, Falstad, Ultralisk, he gets murdered by Rhaegar and Chromie. Top fight isn't even over yet. They're diving in again, trying to do more damage here. Hasn't happened yet. But now at least the Akatsuki finally have level 10. Now it's an even fight. Until now, it was just an adult beating up a kid. That's kind of what it feels like when you have level 10 against someone that is still relying on level 7. So now they can fight back. They got Odin, they got Entomb, they got Cocoon. They got all the tools now. So now you can finally make a couple of moves. Probably not going to come into play on the altar because what's happening now is an exchange left-right. Unless, of course, they get kills here. Then there would be a different story. But Leo's already moving to the top. I don't think they're going for this one. Leo isn't here. Yeah, so this one is likely going to be taken by the blue team. Anything else would shock me. Samuro is now slowly moving away. And, of course, that's now 3 shots fired against 5. There's just that bell tower advantage that we have. So, yes, 3 shots connecting only. Putting it down to 33. Channel interrupted. Nice. So he's able to pull that off. I don't think that the red team can really fight for this, though. I would advise against that. That is usually a really tricky position to try and claim. So, yeah, if you don't want to lose more heroes, then careful. And Menaldor, talking about losing heroes, he's down. Außenseiter might get caught here, too. And he indeed gets caught by the com. Still able to get out. Yeah, but by the skin of his teeth. If that gate was opened already, he would have died anyways. Level 13 is now in. Obviously, the core on the side of the Akatsuki is now down to 23 points. We get the Chrysalis. They're still fighting over the middle. And the Akatsuki are just nowhere near reclaiming the bottom bell tower. That's the problem. They're just not in any position to do that. It's a big problem. 2-level advantage, 11 kills to 4. Things are looking just great for the Raiders. If they can maintain that, it's amazing. They are on 20,000 damage for Samuro and for Chromie. Nobody on the side of Akatsuki is even close to that. They're basically at half of that. So the damage numbers are heavily favoring the Raiders. And Entomb also not doing enough. Pleb Spray, yeah. Not okay. Pleb Spray, we are holding you to a higher standard, guys. You need to work on that loadout. They're trying to... the red team is trying to work on that tower. Karrigan isn't here yet. There's the Gust. Tried stun. But nope. They are low and no problem. Then again, Johan is about to go down, but they also killed the birdie. Falstad is dead. So that... again, Karrigan isn't even here and they're losing that fight. This is a 5 versus 4. Yes, they have a talent disadvantage, but still... they are losing way too much crowd. Now the Pumpkins are going to make it in just a second. If Außenseiter stays here too long, he's also going to die. The shots have been fired. They're out to 21 points on this. Single altar down at the bottom of the map. Karrigan pushing the top lane out, gaining more experience for the team. Now they're on level 15. So that's a 3-level gap between the two. And Khaldor can easily channel at the bottom of the map. Can get the 5 points for the team. And drop the Akatsuki down to 16. And they're just roaming the map for one camp after another. Shots are being fired. They might... I mean, Ultralisk is low again. This is the problem with the bird. You can have mad advantages with this thing, but you can also oftentimes just run into trouble. And that's exactly what's happening with Ultralisk. He's always getting targeted here. The camp gets indeed taken by the Akatsuki, so at least they were able to pull that off. But Rhaegar is now coming in. Falstad is dead again, and they're going for Menaldor next. Leo turns into Leoki. Nuburak gets wrecked. and it's just a disaster. Falsa died 6 times. 6 times. Ultralisk is getting farmed. Absolutely farmed. There's a 3-level gap between the teams still, and we have level 16 talents against level 13 talents. They could go for a full barrage and absolutely crush them now. And that's exactly what they're aiming for. They're coming into the middle now and are trying to get that bell tower as well. And if they are able to pull that off, then the next triple altar phase could end the game. Guys, we had 13 points on the core against 33. They're desperately trying to take the bot lane back. But the middle is about to be claimed, and then the barrage is starting, and it's starting right now. So they're slowing down the bot lane as much as they can. One shot is fired, maybe a second one. I guess they're going to get it. They have to fully commit on this. And yes, they are barely able to stop it, but one shot has already been fired. 2 altars that get channeled now will win the Raiders the game. That's the reality that we're talking about here. 18 seconds for the altars, and all that the blue team has to do in order to win game number 1 in this best of 3 is to channel two of them. Maybe more. Alright. They have to do a little bit more than only get 2. So yeah, it will drop them down to 2 points. They're obviously going to get the 2 for free. But then there's still a boss up, there's still a fight that you can take. But they're not losing the game right here. And they're actually getting a kill. Yeah, Mal'Ganis is down. Okay, Mal'Ganis is dead. They're also trying for a trap on Kerrigan. Yeah, goodbye. Kerrigan gets wrecked. That was a pretty nice one. Stukov just had enough of this shit. 2 points against 30, doable. Let's go. Stukov definitely had enough of this crap. Look at that kill. Stukov is coming in here, he's like, not on my watch. Get the hell out of there. And Kerrigan just absolutely gets crushed. So they take the boss off the board. They have to. The 4 shots are being fired, therefore 26-2. It's comeback time. Yeah, I mean, this is obviously the biggest comeback map in the entire game. Gotta do something. They have level 16 talents in the moment, so there's at least that. It's 4-4 bell towers. I mean, honestly, not that it really matters. One more altar channel for the Raiders is going to win them the game. The only thing that matters is how many shots do the Akatsuki get with every single altar that they're able to channel through. Because that determines the rate by which they can come back into the game and turn this around. And it is possible. Some people might look at that score and say like, yeah, game's over. But we have seen games where it was literally like 1 point against 33 and the team that had the 1 point on the core won the game. So that's possible. Not if you lose heroes like this, though. If you lose heroes this quickly, then it's a different story. So, yeah, to take another look at that, Kerrigan just going absolutely berserk on them in that fight. I mean, look at this. Kerrigan is just hopping through this, gets the Ancestrals, Stukov, Tychus, and Falstad all eliminated. And that is, of course, all she wrote. The channel already happening. Really well done. The lead in this series for the Raiders. Nicely done. GG. Well played as the Raiders take the 1-0 against the Akatsuki. Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV. Alright, game number 2. We have the Raiders in the lead against the Akatsuki as we're heading into our second map, Tomb of the Spider Queen. And on the left now for the blue team, hoping of course to finish this one out with a 2-0. We have Sven on Dehaka, Johan on Arthur's, Hunter Orc is playing Tyrande in game number 2, Nano on Ezebo, so already we get the Witch Doctor in the house. And we got Gia on Greymane, whereas over on the right side, the Akatsuki are starting things off with Ultralisk on Jaina. We got Darkmog on Malthael, Skog on Varian, Banana on Ana, because Banana's Ana is simply Bananas, and Außenseiter is playing Cassia. So, if anybody is like paying attention here, then you might have noticed already that we didn't have a draft for game number 2. The explanation is actually quite simple. I had to leave mid-match, and the reason is I have currently extended family in Valencia that are visiting, and we had a dinner reservation. Some of the games dragged out a bit more, so I had to leave mid-match. There were also a couple of delays that we just didn't really account for, and now I'm just recasting the remaining matches from replays. Replays don't save draft information, so that's why I can't produce draft for the remaining maps that we have. well, assuming there is more than one. But obviously, I still wanted to deliver the content here, not only to the people that are watching on Twitch, but also to everybody that is catching the tournaments on YouTube. So, Raiders against the Akatsuki. And I mean, the draft is already hinting a bit at what we're likely going to see here, especially with Nazebo rotating between lanes. We're going to see Nano just like trying to stack it up like a madman in the hopes of reaching late game, going for the viral infection, and then just absolutely blasting through opponent structures and heroes. But how are the Akatsuki going to fare here? What can they do? Can they bring it back? They have a sniper combo, obviously, so they can set things up with a nice sleep dart on the taunt from Varian. And then they can move in with Malthael's last ride, with Jaina also contributing additional burst damage, and take the target down as quickly as possible. So we'll see if they're able to pull that off or not. Obviously, they would have to win 2 in a row now in order to make their way through the winner bracket. There's still the losers bracket, but this is the final qualifier, and as already hinted at earlier, the Akatsuki haven't participated in this many qualifiers. The team didn't exist in the first one, and they missed out the 4th qualifier. So they really need to get some extra points if they want to make sure that they end up in the playoffs and also have a decent position in the leaderboard to have an easier bracketry. But in this case, they're getting forced back as the Raiders are stealing the Siege Giants and might even get a kill on Banana's Ana. Ana makes it out though. Spiders were apparently not able to squeeze past the gate here. This could have been another kill, or well, the first kill in this game. But with Tyrande, obviously, we have some really nice synergy when you're talking Arthas with the slows and Howling Blast, then the stun coming in from Tyrande, the zombie wall from the Nazebo. So there's actually a lot that can be synced up by the blue team in an attempt to get kills. Whereas for the red team, it is, of course, a traditional Varian attempt and play where they're trying to get targets destroyed pretty quickly. And we'll find out if they can do that. Game number 1, weren't quite able to pull it off, but maybe here on the second map, they are more lucky. Maybe they just needed to have some warm-up time also with the subs that are currently playing with the team to see what exactly they can do here right now. So, as is, we are 3 minutes into the game. We haven't seen a single kill yet, but Taunt is, of course, now ready. So, with that, Skog can start to look for some victims. And he's already looking for some. Maybe now in the middle. Could go for Greymane and does. Gia gets taunted. Where's the damage coming from, though? Damage Sheila's not in range. Jaina wasn't here. Cassia barely able to close the gap for at least some damage, but definitely not enough to get the kill. So kind of unfortunate for them. That was definitely a good opportunity to take Greymane out, but wasn't quite meant to happen. 20 stacks for Cassia on the other hand. So Außenseiter is currently keeping up with the normal quest stacking that you would expect on Cassia. Again, the rough rule of thumb is that around the 8-minute mark you would like to have 40 stacks. That's decent stacking. If you get more than that, obviously, even better. And in this case, they're still trying for their kill, but look what happens. Johan is walking in with the Frozen Tempest from the side, and Arthas is looking for another quick kill. We have seen him now a couple of times as a main tank, and he has a very, very mixed record at this point. Not really a whole lot. So, we'll see what exactly they can do with all of that, but as is, we now have already some extra damage being done here against Johan at the bottom of the map. Ultralisk is on his way back out, but even he is getting attacked again. A death coil from Arthas was also thrown straight into his face. Banana obviously just waiting for the nano boost to empower particularly Jaina. Sven a bit low down here against Darkmog. So, yeah, they are struggling with all of this, honestly, if I might say so. They're having a bit of trouble here, getting full control, and now the blue team is finally starting to lose a hero. Sven was low initially, but now they switched over to Arthas and were able to get the kill there. They also catch Tyrande, and that's not only a few gems lost to the Raiders, but the Akatsuki now also in a position where they might just be able to get the first turn in, and therefore the first Weapon wave. So, objective number 1 likely going to end up in their hands. And some pretty nice early game momentum that the team is now able to accomplish. Talking a bit about also momentum and stacks, we still have to talk about Nano and Nazebo. And we're now 5 minutes into the game. We're barely on level 8 for them. And you can see how many stacks he has. And that's one of the beautiful things when you're playing Nazebo on Tomb of the Spider Queen. If you're diligent about roaming between the mid and the top lane and to get your stacks, you can really wreak havoc. I mean, Nazebo dying in this case obviously will slow the progress down. But he is at 84 stacks already. Which is pretty big, which is actually pretty huge, so good for him. At the same time, trying to now push again with those Web Weavers. Keep in mind, Azebo is gone, so he will be back soon. The death timers are low, but the Web Weavers are already on the ground. The timing couldn't have been any better for the Akatsuki. The early game momentum that they're trying to build here is definitely starting to become an issue for the Raiders. We're only 6 minutes into the game. The wall is falling, the Zebo on his way up to the top, but down here the taunt on Greymane, and that's another kill for the red team. And this, I mean, this is going to be a fort. Unless a small miracle happens here, this is going to be the first fort of the game, and that is just a fantastic first objective for them. The attack against Skork wastes a lot of their time and resources. The fort's gone. Nazeeba is defended up at the top, but he lost huge parts of the wall. Arthur's even getting caught in the middle. The fort was already gone, and on the way back here, apparently was killed by the red team. So now they're getting even more damage in. What is happening here? They got level 10. They're looking at nearly level 11. The Akatsuki are absolutely crushing this. Guys, we have keep damage with the first Web Weaver wave in this game. That is nasty. Now they go for Sven, who holds 29 gems, and he's not gonna make it, is he? If he loses the gems, and he does, that's a disaster. That is an absolute disaster. Hunter Orc, at least, yeah, okay, he at least got that. I'm honestly a bit shocked that Varian didn't stay. I'm really shocked that Skork didn't stay there. Even on the risk of dying, I think that would have been worth it. Denying nearly 30 gems to the opponent. And he wouldn't, I mean, it wouldn't have been a guarantee that he dies there either. Maybe he could have just moved in with a quick taunt and tried to help the team out. The cooldown was ready. So it's pretty surprising that he didn't do that. But yes, a lot of gems now still back in the hands of the blue team. I guess that at least is good news, but it's already bad enough as is, isn't it? In the middle of the map, fort is gone, the wall at the keep's gone. Down at the bottom of the map, the fort has taken damage as well, so things are not looking all that good for the Raiders. In order to bring this back, they need some kills and need them quickly. The good news is that Nazebo is stacking. He's at 120 stacks nearly, and we're only at level 11, so he is definitely going to get the threshold for Violent Infection. But can they make it to level 20 in decent shape? That is the big question right now. Good stacks also from Cassia, 44 stacks now for Außenseiter, not too shabby. We have Syndragosa again as the level 10 talent for Arthurs. Last Rites got the first stack when they were able to take some of the heroes down with the mid lane push. So job well done there. And now they're inching closer to level 13, the red team. And they're going to try and get that additional Web Weaver. They're only 6 gems short of turning them in. And, well, Skork is doing exactly that now. Blue team won't be able to pull that off. But at least they're able to take down Malthael. So, good news. Finally, a kill for the Raiders. I mean, hell, it was about time, I guess. So we're able to get that done. They're trying to follow up with additional kills. Nice Syndragosa straight in the choke point. And what a Howling Blast now from the blue team. They are walking down Anna and Jaina. Both of them dead. Cassia is also about to die. And that should be the easiest Web Weaver defense in the history of Heroes of the Storm. There's literally only Malthael up on the map. And while they are dealing with the Web Weavers, even the fort in the middle of the red team has now taken damage. So this is the Raiders starting to get back into this game. They've already caught up in experience, and they've even taken an experience lead here. Nicely done. Really well executed by them, and that brings them back. Greymane up at the top dies though. To the last rites of Malthael. So a quick and cheeky kill from Darkmork. He might pay for it, but at least he got the last right stack, and that already accounts for a lot. But Banana H is there just in time to save Malthael. So the Angel of Death is for now done with dying. Couple more stuns over here as they're trying to get another kill in. Also Jaina now with a nano boost going for Dehaka, and he's down. Dehaka annihilated. And there's the push for the topside fort, and others with a 3-man Howling Blast. Absolutely crushing it on it. Yeah, nicely done. You can tell, by the way, that Nano's progress has a little bit slowed down when it comes to him stacking, but he's still going to reach all of this in time. But of course, they're losing more ground here, as you can tell. Blue team is finally ready to defend the top forward with force. They might even be able to get a kill against Varian. And yep, Varian is gone. Good Howling Blast also from Johan. Even Syndragosa again. But this time they're dodging out on most of the slows. So that CC train didn't hit nearly as hard as it hit earlier. They definitely learned their lesson. After they got wiped in the middle of the map with a choke point Syndragosa, they just moved away from it. And that helped them for now. The turn-in is about to happen. Hunter Orc is able to deliver. And now the Blue Web Weavers are going to join the game for the first time. But the double kill against Arthas and Turanda. Oh, and maybe even against Dehaka. Is he going to be able to get away? Seems like Sven is able to get out of there. But it is still an utter disaster because those Web Weavers were supposed to take some of the forts down and we're not getting anywhere near that. Now Sven dies too. That makes matters even worse. That leaves only 2 defenders or attackers, depending how you want to look at it. Nazebo and Greymane. So, yeah, not really the best situation to be in if your goal is to finally take some structures out on the opponent's side. Instead, what we're going to see is an easy defense at the top. The mid-web weavers have already been destroyed. Level 16 is now ready for the Akatsuki. And at the bottom of the map, the goal seems to be to go for the fort here and take the remaining fort out of the blue team. With Dehaka gone for another 4 seconds, you might not quite be able to pull it off. Jaina still sitting at the top, contributing to it, of course, too. We have 157 stacks for Nazebo now, and he is at level 15, as is the rest of the team. Now, when it comes to damage, 33,000 for Jaina. She's currently top damage in the game. There's a couple of others that contribute pretty decent numbers for the Akatsuki. When we're talking about their opponents, then the 25k that Nazebo brings to the table is, at least for now, the top that they can muster here. Arthur's with 23,000 himself, sitting above Greymane, but in trouble and goes down to Jaina, who ice blocks the Ravenous Spirit, but still falls to Greymane. Nicely done by Nano in particular, and then Greymane comes in with a finishing blow. They are still not done with the team fight, on the other hand. Isolation has been used against Darkmook and his Malthael, and with those Siege Giants, there's still some hope for the Akatsuki to maybe take this fort down. They're not done here yet. They're pushing. Once again, they want that fort, and they are going to get it. All structures destroyed. More pressure on Nano. Level 16 finally available for the Raiders as well, so they lock that in. And with 20 stacks to Turanda, she's also getting pretty close, actually, to completing her level 1 quest. But looking at gems, we have quite a few more for the Raiders, and they have now the chance of turning in once more. Now, keep in mind, obviously, they have only had 1 Web Weaver wave, so this would be their second, whereas for the red team, it's the 3rd objective that we're talking about. 30 gems have been secured. They hold another 20, roughly, that they could now use to get a bit closer to it. Decent stacking also, again, here from Mouse Insider on Cassia, sitting at 78 for now. So he is ramping up the damage too. It's not only Nazebo that is able to get good stacks together here, but there's still that big question. The big question whether or not Nazebo will hit the late game, whether or not they can rely on Violent Faction. Already, Nano put under additional pressure. Yeah, Cassia is jumping in as well and hits him hard with the Valkyrie. Nano is gonna fall. Nazebo is down. And that is bad news for now. I mean, he has completed the threshold, don't get me wrong, so he's definitely already hit that. But in an ideal world, of course, you want to have Nazebo still in the game so he can ensure that you are not falling apart too heavily and that you're able to, you know, get to level 20 on eye level with your opponent. If you're too far behind, you lose 2 or 3 keeps already by the time that Nazebo hits 20, then he still gets a huge power spike, but he won't be able to contribute too much and save the game for you, only in edge cases. So depending on how this one plays out, with the boss now taken by the Akatsuki, they could be in real trouble before Nazebo gets anywhere near to be their savior. 13 kills against 7 already tells the tale. They're heavily ahead here. Blue team has turned in. Oh, nice damage against Sven. That's a taunt and that's a kill. And another last right stack. Yep, so that is 3 now. 15-second cooldown reduction for Malthael. And Darkmook is doing it exactly the way that he should. If you know that you don't need that cooldown anytime soon, just YOLO it out whenever you are able to get a kill here, even if it's not the finishing blow. That cooldown reduction over time will serve you well, and at some point you're going to get to a point where you can really just like hit 2 out of them in the middle of a team fight and really just chunk the opponent down. Half a level until 20. The gap in experience has really been blown apart. So now we are having a 1.5 level lead for the Akatsuki. They are trying to get to level, to a 1-1 score in this game and force map number 3. That's what's pretty much happening right here. So up at the top, what we currently have, we got at this point the first fort falling on the red team side. Maybe? Yeah, that fort is gone. Damo for a second was thinking about trying, and he's like, yeah, I'm too late. This is not going to happen anymore. Okay, so with that now, we have another turn-in, level 20. I mean, they're lining everything up. They're getting the turn-in, they hit Storm Talents, and now they have Winter Mute plus the Nano Infusion. Marcel has made a choice yet. Usually it's, of course, no one can stop death. But if they feel during the fight that they can get more out of the different talent choice, maybe even go for game, they will probably adjust accordingly. So as is, it's a 1.5 level gap that the Raiders have to bridge to keep up and get to level 20. And the Akatsuki, they of course don't want to let Mezebo get his massive power spike. So the whole goal for them now is to do as much damage as they possibly can. And in an ideal world, also look to get a kill and then end the game entirely. Nice positioning from Banana, really doing his best on 2 lanes now, as Darkmook is slowly walking over to the rest of the team. Top side, mid side, both attacked by Web Weavers, but down at the bottom of the map with the Siege Giants in tow, they're just coming in, take that keep down, and it is gone within seconds. Syndragosa used by Arthurs just to slow things down a little bit for them, but they are rotating back over into the middle, still trying to use those level 20 talents as best as they can to do more and more damage. Another keep about to be destroyed. So much burst right now from the Akatsuki as they are coming in, taking this one out, and that is 2 keeps gone with a 3rd one in the menu or the core directly, and we're still an entire level away from 20 for the Raiders. The time when Mezebo would finally get his big upgrade, but it might never come to that. Arthurs is already gone, and that is bad news now. The shield is gone. We're currently looking at the core getting destroyed, and that, ladies and gentlemen, means we are headed to game number 3, Akatsuki against the Raiders in the winner bracket of qualifier number 5. GG and well played. Game number 3, final map between the Akatsuki and the Raiders. Over on the left side, the Raiders with Whitemane played by a Hunter Orc. We have Sven on Sonya, Gia is playing Zeratul, Johan on Stitches, and Nano on Kelthas. So already a pretty cool draft here. Always good to see Kelthas in the mix. On the right side of the map, the Akatsuki with Ultralisk on Imperius, Skok on ETC, and with Darkmook on Thrall, we now have them with 3 frontliners. Außensiders playing Gul'dan for additional damage, and we have Banana H on Malfurion. So far, so good. So let's see which team is going to stay in the winner bracket and which team drops down into the losers bracket here. Also, kind of interesting to note that we have on level 1 immediately a cleave build highlighted from Zeratul. So this could be Void Prison? I mean, you could technically try and go really Void Prison into Sonya Leap. This is something that was played back in the day, a long time ago. I haven't seen that in a while, but maybe something they're considering here to put pressure on heroes like Malfurion and Gul'dan. But first and foremost, Johan nearly dying here, barely being saved by Hunter Orc. So yeah, job well done, but that got scary there. That got real scary for a moment. Oh, an ETC, careful my friend. And they're playing with 3 frontliners here, but they have to also be a bit careful how they're now playing this out. Gul'dan is sitting currently only on 2 Echoed Corruption stacks. I honestly expected him to get a bit more considering how well that fight was playing out there. Huh? Maybe now can hit a few more against multiple heroes here if he unleashes it. Doesn't seem to have the cooldown ready. There we go. So adding some additional stacks. But with a flank from the top, Imperius is gone. Imperius destroyed. And that is the first kill in game number 3 for the Raiders. Nicely done. Okay, so as things are starting to slow down a bit, we have at the top lane our 1v1 between Thrall and Sonya. At the bottom of the map, the camps already spawned. The teams are now, of course, now going to try and get some additional camp control, get some pressure onto lanes, get experience for themselves, and slowly pull ahead here. Khaldor, he is interested in that as well. He wants those extra regeneration globes so that he can stack Mana Addict a bit faster. Always nice for him. And Zeratul moving towards the top to take Thrall out with the help of Sonya. So that's the second kill now for the Raiders. Off to a decent start in game number 3. The Akatsuki had to fight back hard in order to force this third map. But currently they're falling behind a bit. They're trying to turn it around now though. With a nice kill against Khaldor. So Nano is gone. And they pick up a second kill. And there's the aggression from the Akatsuki that we're used to. So they're coming in with a double kill after initially falling a bit behind. All the way up at the top, still Dartmok against Sven. And also going into stacking with the Frostwolf pack on level 4, but missing the last wolf against Sonya here. Not a lot of stacks at that point that he had to lose or anything, but definitely something we will keep an eye on to make sure that he actually completes it. We have on level 4 now also the Rending Cleave. First objective is of course coming up slowly in the middle of the map. And over here the attack just keeps continuing. We have camps being taken, but the red team is trying to invade this. And that's a big gamble that they have here. The hook is already coming in. There's the slide, stopping the spin to win, and Sven goes down. They are going to get this camp. They're stealing it away. It's a bit of a gamble if you're making a play like this, because if you're being denied, then your opponent has a shaman camp and you don't. So they took that risk and were able to steal it away from the opponent. In addition to that, they got a kill on Sonya. So that's really solid for objective number 1. I mean, not even to talk about the gain in experience that they just got. So with that, we have them on an early level 7, so they should be able to lock in that Punisher without any trouble, really. Easy one for them, not even being contested at this point from the Raiders, because they fully well know that this is going to be pretty tough to take given the situation. Initially they were down 1 hero, then they knew that they would be down 1 talent, soon TM, and of course also behind in stacks right from the get-go, so they didn't even try anymore to go for the Punisher. Camp has finally been defeated in the middle of the map. They're going for the Arcane Punisher, even slowing it down slightly. We have with level 7 talents now, the second helping, still sitting at the 39 stacks on the objective. I'm actually not quite sure how long they want to drag this one out. If they can even do that towards an earlier level 10, but that would really require them to stall it for ages. A kill against Sven. Sonya, on the other hand, might also trigger it. And the blue team is already trying to take control over here to slow this down a bit. 4 kills against 2 now. That was actually pretty well done. And they're getting closer and closer to level 8, with Außenseiter trying to take care not only of the camps, but also of the minion waves. We have Zeratul moving in and out in the attempt to take the topside wall. Seeker in the dark. Nano as usual with Sunfire Enchantment, which is go-to level 7 talent after the Energy Royal. So let's go. Punisher number 1. Let's see how much they can do. Akatsuki on the move into the middle. Trying, of course, to break not only the wall, but also the fort. Or at least do some damage. Immediate attack onto Stitches, and a pretty successful one at that. Skork is a bit low though. Doesn't have a cooldown available, but here comes Thrall with a nice double connect. 4 stacks now for Dartmok and his level 4 talent. And after they take the entire wall and tower set out quickly, they now do damage on the fort itself. And Johan is also low, so there's a lot of poke coming in, and it's a bit of a problem for Stitches. Comes in with the Devour, seems to set that up, but the wall is gone. Punisher is defeated. The fort has taken a good deal of damage. Down to 40% HP, so really nice start for the Akatsuki. And we have 5 stacks for Thrall, meaning he should be able to complete this unless he either gets killed or misses the next wolf here. Sonya, by the way, with the Battle Rage, and I still want to see what they're doing on level 10. I want to see if they are going into Void Prison plus Sleep. Even if, I mean, you can technically also use Void Prison, of course, a section of the opponent's team. Imagine, for example, you get a hook and a gorge. The team is trying to rush to the target's defense, and then Zeratul just moves in, VPs everybody, buys you a little bit more time to take the gorged hero out. So this is kind of the idea behind all of this. If they can do that too, that would be nice. But you can, of course, stack quite a few things here if you would want to. Now we have Sundering for Thrall. We also have Mosh Pit. Here comes Leap, and there's the Void Prison. So yes, we are going full YOLO on this one. We get the Wombo. I like it a lot. Haven't seen that in a while, and that's the beauty of Meta Madness. You just get stuff that hasn't been played for years, and this is going to be good fun. Let's see if they can pull it off. Both teams on level 10, 2 kills to 4, slight advantage in structures, of course, for the Akatsuki, but they're not all that far ahead in experience anymore. The red team had initially taken a significant lead. They've done some real structural damage that they can, of course, still hold on to. But they are not heavily ahead when it comes to the race for level 13, for an advantage on the next objective or anything like that. Now, camps are still up on the map, and the blue team is busy down at the bot lane. And interestingly enough, with everybody moving topside, if they wanted to, they could actually take that wall and maybe even more. They don't know about the positioning of the Akatsuki, and they're now just moving away as we're seeing the raiders go towards their shaman camp and apparently thinking about grabbing that. Sony actually moved straight up towards the top in order to defend this, and the team is now playing it safe in the middle, not going for the camp after all. But the Akatsuki had to move down to the bottom of the middle. They couldn't just let those Kazuras, those Goatmen, take down the gate and the tower here. So they had to react somehow. But Thrall and Sonya, the two side laners, have now started with their respective camp. And with that, trying to ensure that everybody can set this camp towards the top lane once that the objective is up. Shouldn't really do too much. You have a top side shrine. So at that point, you will be able to defeat the opponent's camp, or at least you should be able to. Nobody's hitting another level 13 here. So it all comes down to the 5 versus 5. Gia at the bottom of the map, he can still take the minions out, can pressure that bot lane wall a bit more, but the longer he stays, the more damage at the top will be done by the Akatsuki, as they're already starting to get a lead on the shrine itself. Then again, as you can see on the minimap, we have Imperius rotating down to the bottom to catch the XP. Gorge has already been used, and ETC is in real trouble, and he's dead. Oh, VP into Leap, and that, ladies and gentlemen, might be another kill. They're trying to go for Außenseiter, they grab him, and they get Malfurion too. Nicely done! Double kill for the Raiders, and all of a sudden they are in the driver's seat. They're going straight for the fort, as we have Sonya up on the top going for additional stacks on the shrine. There's the Leap after the VP. Horrify came, and Gravity Labs. And yeah, it's just way too much for the red team to handle. So the Akatsuki got fully murdered there. Couldn't really do anything. We now have level 13 talents in the hands of both. Of course, a lot earlier for the Raiders. That last fight really helped them. Stitch is going to have his Gorge back in another 10 seconds. But yeah, they're still struggling here. ETC, he wants to dance, he wants to party, comes in and drops the mosh pit. So they have to be careful that Johan gets out, and Hunter Hog is doing whatever he can. But there's another Gorge, and ETC, he's going to die again. He died earlier already in the same situation, and now he might walk away after all? Okay. Yeah, maybe not. ETC gets wrecked. And up at the top, the defense has now started. They're trying to make sure that the Frozen Punisher doesn't get too much damage done, but obviously you won't be able to save that fort. It's just not happening. That fort is gone, and we'll then see if they can do a bit of damage at the keep too, if the wall falls over here, or what they can do with this. But either way, as is, we now have them with 22 stacks on Gul'dan. Obviously, you want to be done at level 16, ideally, when Ruinous Affliction kicks in. But he's trailing behind just a bit. Currently 17,000 damage for Gul'dan. And they try again with the attack here. Keep gets slowly attacked. Two of the players for the blue team are still down at the bottom of the map. Kelthas is being caught and gets killed. Nano is gone. They're still chasing up at the top, but now Zeratul is moving in as well. He has a Void Prison available, but there's a quick hook against ETC. They're still fighting this out, and Gia is able to get away. The topside keep, then again, has taken a lot of damage. So that Punisher was no joke. That did some real damage to the keep. And if there's any other attack coming through the top lane, that keep is going to be lost. And it could be used by the blue team to also make a quick play for the core later on. 23,000 damage now for Thrall. Same amount roughly for Kelthas. But with him dead, what the red team decides to do is try and take as many camps on the map as possible. The Khaldor camp over here was the only one that was still up. Bit of synergy for Stitches now too with level 16 talents. Went straight into the digestive juices. And of course the Void Slash on 16 completes the cleave build for Zeratul. Yeah, things are actually really back and forth. I mean, it's game number 3 in the series, and the winner is moving on through the winner bracket to the winner bracket final. Both teams want to accomplish that. It essentially guarantees you at least a fourth place, sorry, a third place in the tournament, no matter what else happens if you get that far. But can they pull it off? I mean, who's going to take it? They're still incredibly close. There's a bit of a gap in experience, but it's honestly not that huge. And the main point is that both teams now have level 16 talent. So it's going to take ages until somebody hits 20 here. And this is just it's an insanely close game, honestly. And for game number 3, it could be any better. We've seen some pretty cool maps between the two. But with that triple front line that we have for the Akatsuki, yeah, they are performing very well here. Just shielding Gul'dan time and time again. ETC once again getting hooked and gorged. But this time he might just be able to get out. There's Sundering. The rest of the team is coming in to help. Now that good stun against Sonya. And the ult from Imperius. But can they follow up on that? Leap away from the fight. Straight onto Thrall. But Sonya still falls. It was a good move though. Leaping out of the little trap that was set for them and onto Thrall really helped. Now Thrall actually died a bit later to Stitches as Johan came in with a big hook. But we have a 4 versus 4 situation now playing out on the map with the blue team still slightly ahead, but Stitches! Stitches getting killed. Skork with a mosh pit that was, I want to say, a little bit questionable. I don't think that was really needed here. Maybe you just wanted to party because they got that kill. But whatever it was, it didn't hit anybody. Now the fort in the middle is about to get destroyed. That will mean that both teams roughly draw even. Or are they? Because there's the VP. And let's see how much damage Kel'Thas can do as a follow-up. And the answer is pretty much none. Not really a whole lot. But they are able to take that fort out. Yes, so Gul'dan came in. He did all that he had to do here. So nicely done. Damage output to give you a bit of an idea on how this all shaped out. Now we have 32,000 for Gul'dan, so he really pulled away from Thrall and is now the top damage dealer on the side of the Akatsuki. If you compare it, on the other hand, with the second mage in the game with Kel'Thas, then yeah, that is still a pretty big gap. Kel'Thas is sitting at 38,000 right now and is going to try and just pad those stats a bit more in that next big team fight. But it's still insanely close. 7 kills to 7. And it is actually the Akatsuki that take that very early lead on the shrine. The hook does not connect. After level 13, Johan has always been trying to hit these long distance hooks and do some real damage there. But yes, as is at the top side, we still have a shaman camp that is that's pushing the lane out and getting a bit dangerous for the top side keep. So Thrall is going to take care of that. One Gambit stack is obviously lost to Stitches on his level 7 now as well, as he died once since then. We have 32 stacks for Kel'Thas with level 1, so has already completed this a while ago, but would like to boost this even further. And Gul'dan isn't done yet. I mean, he's still lingering around at roughly 30 stacks. Here's still the objective up for grabs. The Akatsuki, as they did previously, stopped again at 39 stacks, always trying to just delay that objective slightly and get themselves a bit more experience. There's always a chance that you're going to hit level 20 then, if you're delaying it long enough. But the blue team, they realized it, moved in and forced them to take it right now because they know that this would be a problem. Horrify! Wow! That one was frame perfect nearly. Gia barely able to get out, got hit by it, but in the middle of the blink. So now they are still defending, and Stitches cannot hit that hook. If he were lucky there and hit that one hook, maybe could take out one of the attackers before they really need to defend. Good leap though, very nice leap. But then again, a bit too aggressive maybe. Could be a kill. Sonya is in real deep shit now and gets murdered upon the release of the Void Prison. That also means that the Punisher can now jump in and help out even more, just waiting for the cooldown to pop back up. We're having another fort being destroyed, and to make matters worse, the top side isn't looking much better. That's where the Shaman is pushing in, and another minion wave is joining, so this fort is likely going to get destroyed. And the Akatsuki have been moving away from the bot lane. They're not even trying here to go for the wall. Instead, they're just rotating towards the top, attempting to deal with Zeratul. He's moving away from the fight, or at least attempting to, but without Might of the Nerazim, I just don't see that happening. Didn't have the cooldown on the Void Prison ready either. So there's another death on the blue team side. Stitches again on the wrong side of those gates. This is the third time that he finds himself in that spot. But this time the team is ready to assist him and help him out here. So yeah, Stitches is fine, but level 20 talents are now available for the Akatsuki. And in addition to that, we have up at the top also another fort destroy. So this means 3 forts have now been killed. And they are going for keeps. The Akatsuki are applying pressure, but the Raiders have level 20 themselves. So both teams with Storm Talons. We now get the Flamethrower, we have Shadow Mending, and we got the Scarlet Crusade with Stitches going into hungry Stitches. And hits another hook here. We can't blame Nyon for those hooks because he is hitting tons of them. He's now multiple times been able to put particularly Stitches in real trouble, but it just doesn't result in enough kills. They have 7 against the 9 kills of the Akatsuki, and it is really the red team that is driving the agenda here. We have only keep standing for the blue team, and there's still 2 forts on the side of the Akatsuki. They still have that in game. When talking about damage output, the situation hasn't really changed all that much. Gul'dan is still the top damage dealer for the red team, and on the side of their opponents, it is Khaldor who's just pulling further and further ahead. Which doesn't really help him in the long run, because the problem is really that they are currently not getting any kills. They're struggling with that a bit. So Khaldor being able to get a lot of damage in is nice, but it needs to result in something more tangible. They need those kills so that they can gain more map control and win another objective. And that isn't really happening right now. Yeah. That middle shrine that's popping up next on the objective side is going to determine a lot, honestly. This is going to be a real test for the Raiders, because now that both teams are on level 20, maybe the dynamic has changed a bit, but generally speaking, with another objective, the Akatsuki should be able to take at least a keep down. If not win the game, all depending on how many kills he can get with it. So the blue team, they need to win this one. They really need to win a Punisher here. And of course there's pressure. There's pressure on a lot of the lanes, particularly down here at the bottom. Another camp about to be taken. ETC ready to slide in for it. Yeah, the hook is missing. And the mosh, baby, the leap. Whoa. And ETC, they want some beef. And look at Stitches. Stitches is just eating everything. Dude, there's some things you shouldn't put in your mouth. Just putting it out there. Some things you should not put into your mouth. So they're looking for kills. Void Prison has been used as well. Zeratul got out. Whitemane didn't. And Sven is also about to get destroyed. So that's an easy double kill. Make it a triple, baby. And that's bad news now. This is really a disaster for the team in blue. A real disaster for the Raiders. This might be game. Stitches and Zeratul are going to try and delay it as best they can, but they're still alone for another 40 seconds, and that makes it nearly impossible to defend here. If VP was available, they could hold it a bit longer by simply VPing the core, but even that's now not an option any longer. The shield is falling. It's falling quickly, and this should be game. This series is going to be won by the Akatsuki. They move on to the winner bracket final. Great performance here in the best of 3 in a well-deserved victory. Tough fight between them and the Raiders, but it's now the Raiders, the blue team, that drops down into the losers bracket, and we'll have to try for loser bracket run as the Akatsuki claim the W on map number 3 on Infernal Shrines and move on to the next round of the winner bracket of qualifier number 5. Well played.